today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial. Someone commented on one of my TikToks and asked for it, and I've gotten a couple other questions about what makeup brands I use, what makeup I wear, and so I wanted to go ahead and make a longer video. The first thing that I think contributes to a good makeup look is your skincare. I'm gonna run through that with you guys and then let that set and then get into the makeup. For face wash, I use the CeraVe SA cleanser. I love it. I feel like it really helps to clean out my pores and just make my skin feel super clean and fresh. I use it in the morning and at night, and then I follow that up with the Skin Smart antibacteria spray, and I just spray this all over my face. Okay, the next thing that I go in with is this Amy toner. This brand, I believe, has been discontinued. They used to sell it at Target, which is where I fell in love with it. And then they discontinued it at Target, and it was only sold on the actual website from overseas. I believe it was made in the UK. And so I would order it in bulk. Because the shipping cost was like $20 to get it shipped here, but I loved this skincare. My skin is super sensitive and I loved this stuff. However, I believe it's been discontinued because I can no longer find it literally anywhere, but I absolutely love this stuff. This is my last bottle of it, but I love it. I also am in the process of switching over to the Roden & Fields Unblemished Clarifying Toner. I like this one as well. It's just a little bit harsher, so I only use it in the morning or sometimes at night if I feel like my skin really needs to be cleared out. But this is my favorite, and if you've ever used this and you have a dupe, let me know because I love it. And the next product I absolutely love and I need to get more of is the INN Beauty Slushy Hyaluronic Acid Serum. I love this stuff. All right. Okay. With your skincare, it's always good to go from the thinnest to the thickest. So starting, for example, with a serum or toner and ending with that moisturizer. I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with my moisturizer. This is just the Walmart brand oil-free moisturizer for sensitive skin. And then the last product that I use is the Good Molecules Yerba Mate Wake Up Eye Gel. But I love this eye gel. I feel like it really has been a consistent for me over the last couple of months. And once I finish my skincare, I like to wait about 10-ish minutes before I start applying my makeup, just to let everything kind of soak in and really get into my skin. Okay, once I've had about 10 minutes for my skincare to all set in and my face to absorb it, I will go ahead and start my makeup. So the first thing that I use is a primer. Most of my products are e.l.f. or Pretty Drugstore cost-efficient products, but the one product that I do splurge on and will probably always splurge on is my primer. This is the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. I discovered this when my aunt gave it to me a couple Christmases ago from one of her like Ipsy boxes, and I absolutely love it. It is pretty pricey in my opinion, just compared to the rest of my products, obviously, but I love it, and this is one thing that I will usually splurge on if I can. I have tried a bunch of other primers, and this is just the one that I feel like makes my makeup look the best. So yeah, I just apply this pretty sparingly because it is so expensive, so I don't like to use too much of it, but you really don't need too much of it for it to make a difference. And then I just go ahead and blend that out with a brush. Let's get into it. So I don't wear foundation every single day just because I don't like the feeling of it on my skin. It makes me feel like claustrophobic all day long. So I usually will just start with concealer. My concealer of choice is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I am in the shade Fair Rose, and I love this concealer if it has the white lid. I believe that the one with the black lid is either matte or just plain camo concealer, and I feel like it dries down a little bit like crusty on my face. So I like the one with the white lid. I feel it's super affordable, it's very full coverage, and I really love this one. So for concealer, the areas in which I put concealer is right under my eye, right in the inner corner, and then I will take it and kind of drag it up along the edge of my eye. Same thing on the other side. And then I will do a little bit on the bridge of my nose just to kind of offset the nose contour that I'm going to be doing in a little bit. I put a little bit on my chin, a V on my forehead, and then I take a little bit and just kind of go right under where I would put my cheek contour just to make that line a little bit more sharp. And then I use two different brushes. Now for the larger areas, I will use this brush. It's just a flat tip, fluffy brush. And I will use this to kind of blend my cheeks, under my eyes. And then for areas like my nose and my chin, I will use this little fluffy brush. And if I have any spots where I want to cover a blemish, I will also use this little fluffy brush for that. My next step in my routine is contour. I use the e.l.f. Halo Glow Contour in the shade Light Medium. I've actually broken it, but it still has a ton of product inside, so I haven't replaced it. But I just will take this little part and I kind of go right sort of from the base of my ear, just drawing a line down towards my lips, and then re-dip it. And I will go in on my forehead, right there. Okay, now for nose contour, I will take this little flat tip brush and just dip it into the contour. And then I start kind of right at the base of my eyebrow, drag it in and down. Same thing on the other side. And then I will take some, again, go under my nose to create that like point around it. And then also on the base. And then a little bit right under my lip, just to make my lip look a little bit fuller. Okay, I have two brushes again for blending out my contour. The first one is this more firm angled brush, and I use this on the larger areas of my face. And then I use this little fluffy brush for my nose and my under my lip. Okay, now that my contour is all blended, and I know it looks a little bit crazy, but I will show it in natural lighting. I just have some bright white lights on right now, so it's making things look a little bit crazy, but I promise to stick with me. The next thing that I go in with is my blush, which is also the e.l.f. Halo Glow Blush, and it is in the shade Rosé You Slay. So I just take this blush and I put it right kind of at the edge of my eyebrow, just very high up. I know that a trend right now is boyfriend blush placement, which is where you kind of put it right here, but I just am not in the mood to change my makeup routine right now. I also put a little bit on the bridge of my nose right there. And for my blush blending, I just use this brush. It is a fluffy angled brush, and I really like it. All of my brushes are from, I believe, Amazon. They don't have a brand on them, but it does say BS-Mall on all the brushes. So if you look that up on Amazon, you might be able to find them. Once my blush is all blended, now it is time for my first coat of setting spray. I use the Sephora brand. I feel like a lot of time with setting spray, I end up feeling sticky or just weird, and I feel like this one doesn't do that. So So I will spray that, and then as it is drying, I go in with the CoverGirl Clean Matte Pressed Powder, and I am in the shade Classic Ivory. And I will just take this and a beauty puff and just go in under my eyes to help prevent creasing. Much my T-zone to help with oil, and then anywhere that might crease. If I feel like I need a little bit more contour or a little bit more blush after I have done my powder, I will either go in with the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in the shade Tan Lines, or I will go in with the e.l.f. Putty Blush in the shade Turks and Caicos, and I will use the same brush that I originally used for contour and for blush, just to kind of touch up anywhere that I feel like I might need a little bit extra. So I'll go do that now. Okay, now for highlighter, I use the Becca Beauty highlighter, and I use it in the shade Champagne Pop, and it is completely destroyed, as you can see. And I go in with this little angled brush kind of on the bridge of my nose, as well as this little bump part of your nose. And I also will take this on the inner corners of my eyes, as well as a little bit above my eyebrow, and what I believe is called the bow of my lips. Okay, now if I am going to put on a powder bronzer, I like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I feel like this is such an OG. But I'm not going to put any on today because I feel like I'm already bronzed enough today. Okay, so the last two steps for me are lips and then brows. So for brows, I like to use the e.l.f. Instant Brow Lift Pencil in either the shade Auburn or Taupe, depending on what they have in stock, honestly. And my eyebrows, I don't really take care of them that well. I just use these to kind of fill in any sparse areas. And then after that, I go in with the e.l.f. Clear Brow Lift and a spoolie to kind of put them down a little bit, stick them down a little bit. I use just it sparingly to make my eyebrows look like I did something to them. Okay, brows are done. I'm sure they probably won't look any different, but that's how they look. And then as for lips, I like to use lip stains because I just think it helps elevate my look throughout the day, and I don't have to worry so much about putting on a lip gloss or lipstick throughout the day. So my current two favorite lip stains are the CoverGirl Outlast lip stain, and this is in the shade 10. And then I also like this water stain that I got from Amazon. It is the brand Etude, and it is in the shade Dear Darling Water Tint. I love this as well. It's kind of a dupe for the Benetint. So I just layer these and then wipe them off after a couple minutes. I like to let this dry for like 60 seconds before rubbing it off. And don't ask why I layer them, because I really don't know. I just started doing it and I liked it, so I don't know if the other one underneath really makes that big of a difference, but I almost consider it my liner before I put on the full lip tint. Okay, so now that my lips are done, my makeup is completely finished. I'm gonna go over to the window to show you in some natural light what it looks like and also give a close-up. But I do want to just say thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you like this video, because I plan to post more content, vlogs, hair tutorials, makeup tutorials, skincare, all sorts of things like that. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe and like it.